Hello everyone, Sammy here and welcome to today's yoga practice. Our focus today will be on opening up through the chest. So with today's lifestyle, we tend to find that we're crowding in a lot through the chest, rolling the shoulders forward as we're reading or scrolling or doing our computer work. So bringing in poses to open the heart space may feel really delicious, and it might feel a little bit uncomfortable as well. So again, we don't want to practice pain or discomfort. If you're finding that you are feeling those, you've probably gone a bit too far. So just coming back, pulling yourself gently back into a comfortable position. As always, take breaks when or if you need them. Listen to your body. We want to honor how it's showing up today. I'm going to be using some blocks and a bolster as well during the practice. So the sort of things that you could use at home are a rolled up towel as a bolster or a blanket. You could use as a block, you could use some books, a firm book as well. So yeah, so you don't have to have the yoga equipment, you can use your imagination. So we're going to just take a couple of breaths or some moments to check into our amazing bodies and see how they're feeling today, and then do a little bit of mobility and then we'll begin. So standing in a nice comfortable position, spreading the toes, feeling that sense of groundedness through the feet, inner and outer foot. We want to relax the arms down by our side, maybe think of stacking heels under hips, under shoulders. The head's easy on the neck, okay? You may like to soften the eyes or even shut the eyes. It's entirely up to you, okay? So we're just going to take some time to listen to the sound of our breath. Just notice how we're feeling today, both physically and mentally. Not trying to fix anything, just noticing without any judgment. You may like to bring a hand to your heart space and your belly and feel your torso rise and fall with every breath. And if you're finding your breaths a little staggered, maybe bring your awareness to taking nice even inhales and even exhales. Beautiful. Taking a couple more of these awareness breaths. And then when you're ready, gently open the eyes or widen the gaze. Let's take a nice big energizing breath. Nice. Okay, so we'll begin with the head. We're going to just take some nice gentle movements to warm up the joints, to warm up the muscles a little bit before we begin our vinyasa. Okay, so we'll start by tucking the chin into the throat and allowing that head to roll forward. We can do this on the exhale. And then gently lift the chin up, lengthening both the front and the back of the neck on the inhale. Do one more of these, tuck and roll on the exhale. And then lifting on the inhale. Lovely. Bring the head forward. We'll turn the head side to side. We'll do a couple each side. So inhale to find length. Exhale, turn to look to one shoulder. And then inhale to the center. And then exhale to the other shoulder. One more each side. Now, if the guided breath isn't landing with you today, that's totally fine. Just breathe your nice, nourishing breath, your comfortable, natural breath. We'll get some movement for the shoulders. So we'll start with the hands in front, do a couple of elbow taps. On the last one, we'll hold it there, draw the elbows together, inhale, and exhale, elbows in front, inhale, and exhale. Let's reverse it, inhale, and exhale, inhale, and exhale. Lovely. Releasing those hands and elbows, making some circles, changing direction, wiggling fingers, might like to open and shut. Nice. Let's get some movement for the torso. So just gently tipping over side to side. And some gentle sways, looking over the shoulder. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to take some circles for the hips and change direction. Nice. From here, we can pick up the knees and do a little bit of a half circle or rainbow shape. And then kicking up the heels to warm up the back of the legs. And then tapping the toes. Okay, so standing at the top of our mat, feet about hip width apart, spreading those toes, feeling nice and grounded, stacking heels under hips, under shoulders. Might step back a little bit further. Nice. So we're in mountain pose at the moment. We're feeling nice and strong in our Tadasana. Taking smooth, even, steady breaths. Feeling that energy rising from the floor. And on the next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up. And exhale, join the hands together. On the inhale, we'll lift up. And then we're going to tip to one side. Breathing in. And to the other side. And last one, breathing in, but we're going to tip back just a little bit. So switching on those glutes. Exhale, come to the top again and sweep the arms down back into mountain pose. Lovely. Let's take an inhale into our chair, our Utkatasana. Taking a moment here, take an extra breath, just so our body's getting primed up for our yoga practice. On the exhale, we're going to fold forward at the hips and allow the body to melt. So we can add some movement here. We can sway the hips, sway the arms, maybe give the head a nod or a shake. When we're ready, we're going to come to stillness and we're going to lift the gaze on our Adho Uttanasana. So nice long arms, long spine. You may like to sweep the arms back to open up the chest. Okay. On the exhale, we're going to melt the body forward again. And this time we're going to open up the chest by making a rotation. So we're going to inhale, turn to the right, opening up the chest. Now this hand here, we can pop it on our hip, or we can put the back of the hand on our lower back, or we can sweep the arm up in the air. So if you're feeling a bit tight in the shoulders, the other options can be just as effective as the arm up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, sweeping to the left. Again, just popping your hand in that position that feels good for your shoulder. Even rotating the wrist to see if that's a bit more comfortable. Exhale, let the head melt, lengthen the back of the neck. On the inhale, we're going to come into our chair. We're going to add a cactus to this. So drawing the shoulder blades together and down the spine, weight in the heels, and then exhale into mountain. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to do another vinyasa. We're adding a warrior one as well as a humble warrior to this one. Okay, so making any adjustments in your stance, feeling nice and steady in our position here, in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. We're going to take a nice big inhale with a little bit of a mini back bend, so switching on the glutes here to support the lower back. Exhale, hands down to mountain. Inhale into chair, we're going to add that cactus arms. And then we're going to exhale, forward fold. Just let everything hang heavy. Inhale, half lift, sweep the arms back again to open up that chest. And on the exhale, we're going to come all the way up, pick up the right foot. We're going to pick up the left foot, sorry. Oh my goodness, here we go. Got my lefts and rights all muddled up already. So from here, take some time to get into your position. Okay, so take up space in the mat. We want the right knee over the right ankle. The back heel can be up or down. If you have it down, maybe angling out the toes to the side a little bit just to help with the positioning. So from here, we're going to take a nice big inhale, opening up the chest. On the exhale, we'll sweep the hands back. Now with the arm positions here, as we come into humble warrior, we can have our hands on our hips with our elbows drawn back slightly to open up that chest. You can cup the forearms with each hand as well, or even clasp your hands, okay? So just pick the level of intensity that feels good for you today. So inhale to find length in our torso, and then on the exhale, we're gonna melt the rib cage over the right thigh. Let the head relax. So there's a little bit of balance here too as we move our body weight forward. So spreading those toes. If you have your arms crossed or your hands joined, you can lift them off your spine as well. Taking an extra breath here, just so we can allow time for that chest to feel what it's like being opened in this position. On your next inhale, we're going to let go of the hands, sweep the arms up, pick up the back foot. On exhale, come to the top of our mat. We'll do an inhale into chair. Let's get the cactus arms happening. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. You've got those sweeping the arms back as an option. And then on the exhale, we're going to stand all the way up, pick up the other foot, send it out the back. So take your time setting up. We're not in any hurry. Nice. So from here, we can sweep the arms up, finding length through the rib cage, through the spine, and then exhale. We're going to put our hands into positions that feel comfortable for our shoulders. Inhale to find length in our body. Exhale, melt the body forward into humble warrior. And just notice how it feels coming forward on this side, letting the head relax, finding length in our spine, in the back of our neck, the front of our neck. Lots of strength here for the feet, for the legs. One more breath. On your next inhale, begin to lift your gaze, sweep the arms up, lift the back heel up. Exhale, come to the top of your mat into mountain. Inhale into chair. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale into half lift. And then on the exhale, we're going to bring our hands down onto the ground, walk the feet all the way back, coming into plank. Okay, from plank, we're going to lower the knees down to the ground, chaturanga all the way down. So from here, we're going to add a chest opener in the form of Sphinx pose. Okay, so we're going to press the toenails into the ground to lift the kneecaps. And we're going to keep our glutes and legs nice and active. Sweep the elbows underneath the shoulders. Now we want to shine the heart forward so we can lift the crown of the head to the ceiling and think about drawing the shoulder blades together and down the spine. We want to tuck that pubic bone into the mat, sort of like we're tucking our lower bottom into the back of our thighs. And we're going to just softly look forward or forward and down and take a few extra breaths here, just to notice how this feels. Now, if you're finding it's uncomfortable for your lower back, just come down a little bit and come into baby cobra or cobra, just drawing the elbows together, but not quite up as high. So really focusing on drawing the shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades together. Smooth, steady, even breaths in our Salamba Bhujangasana. Nice. From here, we're going to start to lower the body, tuck the chin, tuck the toes, come up onto our hands and knees, and we'll come into tabletop. From here, we're moving on to our thread the needle. So we're going to pick up our left hand. On the inhale, we'll turn towards the left side, open up the left heart space. So with our hand, we can put it on our hip as we come into this rotation, lower back or up in the air. My arm's a little stiff at the moment, so I'm going to have mine on my lower back because my shoulder's a bit tight. And then on the exhale, we're going to tuck our left hand behind our right wrist. Bring the fingers away from us as much as we can. We can have our head like hovering, or we could put like a blanket underneath our head. Let the head be on the ground, whatever feels good for you. Hips are high in the air and just opening up those shoulder blades. Now with this other arm, we can keep it on the ground or we can lift it up and bring it up in the air. or again, lower it so it's the back of the hands on the lower back or tucked around to the side of the body. So we'll just take a few extra breaths here, opening up the right side of our chest. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring that right hand onto the ground if you've had it off. Push off through that right hand, bring the left hand through, do one more opening here before we change sides. Still a bit stiff. And then come back down onto the ground. Lovely. Let's do the other side. So inhale, pushing the upper back to the ceiling. And then on our next inhale after that, we're going to reach up. This side's going to behave for me. This shoulder's a good one today. Really opening up that right side of the chest. And now we'll tuck this right hand behind the left one. Head on the ground or blanket or wherever. And again, we've got that option of lifting up the left hand, bringing it up in the air, or resting the back of the hand on the lower back, or tucking it round the side. Opening up the left side of our chest. Taking a few extra breaths here. One more breath. Lovely. Let's bring that left hand down on the ground, push ourselves up. We're going to open up on the right hand side one more time on the inhale. And then exhale, pop that right hand down. Lovely. Let's come into puppy pose, Uttanasana. So our bottom stays high over our knees. We'll start to walk the hands forward. Okay, our head between our arms, or you may like to sink the chest a little bit further towards the mat. The head can hover, or you can rest it on the floor. So we're opening up our chest with our arms above our head. So still a chest opener. And just taking a moment to notice where else you can feel this lengthening. I can feel it down my middle back as well. Armpits, but you might be a little bit different where you feel yours. Taking a few extra breaths here. When you're ready, start to lift your gaze on the inhale. From here, we're going to set the hands back a little bit towards us, but start walking them round to the left-hand side. So we're opening up the right side of our body. And again, we can have that head hover off the floor or let it rest on the mat or ground. And then coming back to center on the inhale, and then exhale, taking some breaths over on the other side. And then when you're ready on the inhale, coming back to center, back to tabletop. And then from here, we're moving on to camel pose, Ustrasana. So for this one here, we're going to walk the hands towards us. If it's a little bit uncomfortable for the knees, go grab a towel or a blanket and pop it underneath your knees. We can keep the toenails on the ground or curl them up. It's entirely up to you. So there's a couple of options for this one here. We can pop our hands on our hips. We can come back and reach our ankles, or if you have your bricks as well, you can place them either side of your ankles and catch your bricks as well. Okay, so from here, I'm going to just start by keeping my hands on my hips, taking an inhale to find length. Bring the hips slightly forward, not too far. Draw the shoulder blades back and down on the exhale. You're quite welcome to grab an ankle. For me today, this is enough. Keeping those hamstrings and glutes switched on. The eyes are looking forward and slightly up, opening up through the chest. Taking a few more breaths here. Lovely. When you're ready, starting to come up to upright on the exhale, we'll bring the hands down into tabletop here and then into plank. We're going to come down onto the ground and do one more chest opener on our tummy. So coming into plank on knees or toes, whatever feels good. And then on the exhale, slowly melting the body down in chaturanga. And then on the inhale, we're coming into that Sphinx pose again, but again, you've got that option of keeping the hands near the armpits, drawing the shoulder blades together, coming into baby cobra. So bring the elbows forward, touching the toes on the ground, keeping the kneecaps off the floor, legs nice and active. And just notice how your Sphinx is feeling this time around, seeing that we've moved the spine in a few ways. I'm definitely feeling as though it's a little bit more loose through the spine, opening of the chest. Shining that heart forward, drawing the shoulder blades together. Lovely. On your next exhale, we're going to melt the body down and then roll over to our backs as we come into our bridge pose. All right. Okay, so bringing those feet close to your bottom, keeping them nice and flat on the floor though. We want our eyes looking straight up. We can close or soften the gaze with this one as well. We're going to just leave those arms just to lie there for the moment. Now, I've got my brick with me. I'm going to turn mine into a bit more of a restorative bridge pose, but you don't have to do that. You can just keep those legs nice and active, okay? So it's entirely up to you. So we'll take an inhale to prepare. So tipping the hips up, grazing the lower back to the mat and lifting the hips up then when you're ready. We can snuggle the shoulders underneath each other a little bit more to help open up through the chest. Okay, I'm going to grab my brick here, pop it underneath my bottom, just so I can give my legs a little bit break. They're a bit tight, so I still want my chest opening, so I'm going to do that by tucking the shoulders a little bit underneath, but I'm giving my legs a bit of a break here, still putting pressure through my feet. And then just take some time to take some smooth, steady breaths. Notice how this feels for the chest, for the hips. In our Setu Bandha Savangasana, or our bridge pose. So my brick is about just above the top of my bottom. So not resting on my back, about where my sacrum is. Taking a couple more breaths here. One more breath. And if you are using support, just push through those feet, lifting the brick off from underneath you, and then taking our time to roll the shoulders out, roll the spine down. Lovely. From here, we're going to come into a little bit of a twist. So get my brick out of the way, take the arms away from the body. We want to really root the shoulder blades to the floor. You can take the feet away from the bottom, take them as wide as they like. And we're taking both knees over to one side, okay? So we'll keep those shoulder blades fixed to the floor. You may like to look the opposite way. You can also pick up the hips and kind of like stack the hip bones one on top of the other. Just taking some time to listen to our breath and check into our amazing bodies. Taking 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, start to lift the knees on the inhale, unstack your hips, and then we'll take the knees over to the other side. So rolling over or lifting and rolling over if you're stacking the hips, keeping those shoulder blades flat to the floor. And then again, we've got that option of looking the opposite way, softening the eyes or shutting them, whatever feels good. And just noticing how this rotation feels on this side. Is it any different to the other side? And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, begin to lift your knees. And then coming to the center, bring the arms towards you. Lovely. Now for our last one, we're going to be doing a supported fish pose. Okay, now you do have the option of doing this without support, so I will quickly go through this. So the whole idea is to open the chest and we're supporting ourselves on our elbows, so we can straighten the legs. Okay, although I have seen it done with bent knees, and what we're doing is we're tucking the elbows close to the torso. Okay, with these thumbs we can tuck them underneath so they're kind of at the bottom end of our bottom. Okay, hands on the floor, and then we're resting the back of the head on the mat. So as you can see, you'll notice my chest is rising up to the ceiling. Okay, you can open the throat a little bit more by tipping the head back, but just making sure that we're not constricting the breath. Okay, we want a nice, even, steady breath. Okay, with the feet, you can keep them relaxed or you can flex the toes so you keep the legs active. Okay, so it's quite a active way of doing a fish pose. We're getting that nice chest opening. We've got a long spine from middle to lower back and a soft curve into middle to upper back. Okay, as we draw those shoulder blades together. If you like this one, which is my favorite, is we're doing it a little bit more passively. So what you'll do is you'll grab your pillow or your rolled up blanket or towel, and you're going to have it lengthways down your spine. Okay, so we do want to support the head with this, and the bottom stays on the ground. So you might need a couple of cushions if you're using cushions. Okay, so I've got my head support here. I'm going to let my arms dangle on the ground, my bottom's on the floor. Okay, and then from here, I've got a nice open chest. My eyes are looking up, although I am going to shut them. I'm just going to let my legs hang heavy. So a nice supported chest opener for this one, for our fish pose. Trying to relax our arms, our legs, letting that chest open naturally. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into Shavasana. Now with Shavasana, I invite you to get into a nice comfortable position that feels good for you. Okay, it's always good to take some time to slow the heart rate, get the breath back, and yeah, just reap the rewards of our practice. I'm quite enjoying this fish pose, so I'm going to stay here for my Shavasana, but you do whatever feels good for you. So we're going to be here for a few minutes. So we'll take a couple of releasing breaths just to let go of any tension or tightness we may be feeling physically and emotionally. So taking that steady breath in and letting it go in a long sigh. letting all that breath go. Breathing in and letting it go. Let's do one more. And if you like, you can bring your arms above your head if that feels good. Breathing in and releasing. And then coming into your comfortable natural breath. Bringing your awareness to how your body feels after we've been making those nice shapes, opening the chest, relaxing the feet, the legs, up through the hips, along the length of our spine and all the muscles that surround that. Letting the front of the hips go soft, the belly, keeping that chest open but relaxed, across the collarbone, the throat. Relaxing the arms to the fingertips, the front and back of the neck, the back of the head, the sides and crown. Allowing the features of our face to soften. Whole body relaxed, rested and heavy. And if you find your mind's beginning to wander with thoughts and lists and jobs to do, just bring your awareness back to your breath, noticing the rise and fall of your chest, your ribs and your belly. And then when you're ready, begin to bring some gentle movement back to the body. Wiggling toes, wiggling fingers, maybe a gentle rock of the head. Maybe a bit of a stretch out. And then taking your time, rolling onto your side. Taking an extra breath here or two if you need to, and then pushing ourselves up with our hands. I'm going to sit on my bolster actually, that sounds like a good idea. Getting into a nice comfortable seated position. We'll bring our hands to our heart space, a gentle bow, and thank our amazing and beautiful bodies for moving and for being still, for our breaths for nourishing us, and for our minds for guiding and supporting us. Thank you everybody for joining me for today's practice, and the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. I hope you feel a little bit more open in the chest at the moment, okay? I would love it if you could like or subscribe to the channel, and add any comments if there's anything that particular that you might like to see. Otherwise, I wish you a beautiful day or evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.